Rhonda Buffington, that's my name. And I moved here from out of state last May. Rented a house, was looking to buy within the year. So, and just bought a house, of course.
You went through a couple agents before you settled on Mantle.
Yes.
What was your experience there?
4 agents, actually, I went through. And every single bit of it was communication. 100% of the time, it was communication. It was either lack of communication at all, or it was false communication. So it all boiled down to communication with all 4 of them.
So how long did you look for a property?
So I moved here from Alabama, out of state, of course. And so I think that was another reason why there was some issue with the realtors as well, because there were 2 of the realtors that were actually helping me remotely. I will say that that is a hard thing to navigate. It really is. Here's this caveat. I think the reason it was hard for them to navigate is because they didn't have the communication skills that were mature. Let's put it that way. Because you have some people that just don't like conflict resolution. And that's honestly what it looked like to me.
I'm assuming you were just buying and you didn't have to sell anything. I know you said you rented previously. What area did you buy in?
So I ended up buying a house in Lexington. I was kind of looking in the Kernersville, Triad, Lexington area anyway. And that's another reason why Caroline was specifically referred to me, because she was in the Lexington area. So, yeah.
What stood out for you differently for Mantle and Caroline?
Well, specifically what stood out with Caroline for me was from the get-go, the communication thing. It was really easy to tell that she did communicate her boundaries very well. She let me know, hey, this is the way I communicate. The second thing is, and I've lived all over the United States, and I've bought houses in several different states. I have had several different realtors. This is honestly the first time I've ever gone through that many realtors. So what stuck out with her, the second thing, was that she reminded me a lot of the real estate agent that I had in Alabama. It was the willingness to say, hey, we'll go look at anything that you want to. I have no problem with that. And while we were there, I could just be walking around the house saying, you know, we might need to check on this, and we need to look at this, and we might need to see what this is about. And then I'll turn around and look at Caroline and say, you know, I'm just sitting here rambling. We might want to like write some of this down. And she's already got her nose in that paper saying, I've already got it. Every single thing that I mentioned, she was already writing down. And so that was quite impressive for me, is the fact that she was already attentive to everything that I was pointing out about a house before I even pointed it out.
Do you feel like she had your best interest in whenever you were looking at a house?
So there were conversations that her and I would have, and you know, I could tell that we were kind of on the same sheet of music when it came to our thoughts. She would, in so many words, let me know, I'm not really sure if this is gonna work for you, but I want you to see it, or I want you to tell me whether you don't want to see it or not. But I think at least you'll get a good idea of some of the things that may or may not need to be done to, you know, a house, if it needed to be fixed up or something like that, was in a certain price range, as opposed to a house that didn't need to be fixed up and was in a different price range. So yeah, she definitely had my best interest.
Did you have any hiccups with your transaction with us?
You know, the only thing I think there was a hiccup about, and it had absolutely nothing to do with Mantle Realty, but it had to do with the due diligence, because North Carolina is a little bit different. The other agent did not quite give the correct address for that money to be wired to. So yeah, they had the wrong address and it went to the wrong suite, and they were kind of upset about that for a couple of days, but it was actually on them. Yeah, and so that was literally the only hiccup that I can think of.
If somebody was on the fence about buying or selling right now, what's your thoughts on the market right now?
So as far as the market goes, because I was trying to buy a house last year as opposed to this year. Last year was quite a whirlwind. It really was. And I think that's another reason too why there was some hiccups with the real estate agents, is because the market was mad crazy. The market now seems like it's not as fast paced as it was last year. The prices are right there with the inflation, but I don't think the market this year is as crazy as it was last year.
I agree.
I do see a lot of sellers really taking advantage of the fact that this is a seller's market.
Yeah.
So that is another pattern that I'm seeing.
So if you had a family, friend, member, coworker, whatnot, would you refer them to Mantle?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because it really was a great experience. Caroline is just an absolute sweetheart to be around, really. But at the same time, you know, you can tell that she's very firm, she's very independent. So yeah, and because it was such a great experience from start to finish with her, 100%.
For our company not to look like the normal real estate company, suits and ties, were you scared about that at first, or were you okay with the difference in Mantle?
100% not scared away by something like that. For me, and this is the reason why, there are a lot of people who like to put on their suits or their faces that they present to the world every day. And unfortunately, it is just a suit sometimes. No shade to those type of real estate agents or those type of realtors. And it's not to say that I wouldn't do business with someone like that. However, that's just a costume, really. To put on your suit and make yourself look like something that sometimes maybe you're not. Maybe you're just a down-to-earth, honest person who this is the way you dress. And I don't think the way you dress has anything to do with the way you perform as a human being or a realtor for that matter.
Are you excited about any of the Mantle events that you're going to be able to come to now?
Just moving here to North Carolina, I don't really know a lot of the events that do take place. However, you know, finding out about the parade and that Caroline, that's another thing. Even after the sale, she will reach out to me and say, hey, come and check this out. As far as self-promoting, she's definitely doing that, but she's doing it in a very friendly way. It's like, hey, let's still be friends. Let's still keep in contact with each other. I am not normally the type of person that will actually go to a lot of these events, but sometimes someone comes along in your life that makes you change your mind about those kind of things. I would more than happily, really, and this comes from the bottom of my heart, support her and support Mantle Realty, because that's what people do when you have good people in your life. And so I will probably refer Caroline to a lot of people, and I will probably use her again in the future because I know this is not my last house. So
I know you said your son was the one that referred Caroline.
Yeah, my son-in-law.
Yeah. How did he get her information? Do you know?
From someone he worked with.
Okay.
So he was on the job, and I think he just shared the fact that we've been having some issues and trying to get a realtor and helping us find a house, and that person just said, hey, I literally just used this person recently, so give them a call, and so I did.
My last question for you, since you've dealt with so many agents, do you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions if somebody's looking to get in the real estate field as a consumer?
So my personal advice would be you got to do your inner work on yourself. Become a very confident person. Become the kind of person who other people's opinions are not valued as much as your own opinion. When you can do that, you become the best human being that you can be. Realtor or whatever you decide that you want to go into, you will excel every single time, because doing the inner work has to do with learning that communication is key. You learn your own communication style and how you want to be communicated with, and then you learn other people's communication style, because doing the inner work and learning how to communicate actually puts you in an observation mode to where you can pay attention to patterns. And if you do that and pay attention to your own patterns and pay attention to other people's patterns in being confident, that you have the ability to do anything that you set your mind to, period. You know, the only thing that I think that I would add is the fact that, and I don't know if Caroline is like this with all of her clients, but she has actually created a rapport between her and I that is very settling, to actually use a word. If I had to use one word, you know, Caroline can be very settling for someone like me. I'm a very patient person, but at the same time, we're all human. We like to be included. Having her contact me and still having that rapport with me and that friendship type connection, even though, you know, we're just acquaintances, but she does it on a very friendly, kind level. I really think that that's kind of what sets Caroline apart, honestly, is her character and her personality. Caroline is definitely good people. I enjoy just her as a person, and you know, hopefully, you know, we might become friends in the future. We'll see. Who knows? Yeah. She has a very, very outgoing personality, and I do too. So yeah, we kind of already have that rapport between us. It's there. Yeah. She's a good kid.